Can anyone catch them, do you think?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, unbelievable. We didn't expect that.
Well, Mikel, didn't quite get what you wanted in terms of where you are on the table, but what a way to sign off today.
Yeah, it was great at least to be able to win the match and play the way we played and give something back to the fans. Obviously, at halftime we already knew the result, and it was complicated. But again, thank you so much for the atmosphere that they built again around the stadium, and at least we finished with what we had to do.
In terms of the squad, you know, there were 3 players out of contract that we saw. I think some of the fans might want to know, you know, what the situation is with them first of all.
We will start to speak to them tomorrow and go individually, case by case, assess and reflect what we want for next season, and all together make the right decision.
And in terms of next season, do you foresee a big change in the squad, or just a few? Do you feel like you know what you need?
Let's see. At the moment, I'm still in a lot of pain for the way things happened on Monday, and it's difficult for me to make a right assessment, probably, and a fair assessment of what we've done. And I need a few days, probably a week or 10 days, to go back, let the dust settle a little bit, and look forward with more clarity.
Of course. And with that in mind, apologies, but I know I've just read quite a few commentators who are saying that the January and the lack of activity and the decrease in the squad may have affected things. Can lessons, do you think, be learnt in that sort of aspect of things?
I don't know. Obviously, we have to respect every opinion, every decision we made. It was because we thought it was the right one. Obviously, we have at times 5 and 6 injuries with big moments. We didn't expect to do that. But if you look at the players that we allowed to go and the minutes that they played, in my opinion, it makes all the sense. And we improved the numbers and the performances and the goals that we scored, even without those. But obviously, we have to look at something why we didn't do. But our job is to squeeze the lemon as much as we possibly can. And I think that there is no regrets, if I'm honest.
Hi, everyone. So welcome to another episode of the Indian Gooner podcast. We've got Bob with us. Hi, Bob.
Hey, mate. How you going?
And we have got Indian Gooner IG Ashish with us. Hi, Ashish. So,
hi, Vijay.
So we have completed one more season successfully, not just in Arsenal in itself, we in Indian Gooner podcast. So thank you everyone who have been, listening to us ramble on, having this topsy-turvy thing where we went from, hey, this is absolutely horrible what Arsenal was doing, to, yeah, I mean, it's better, to, oh my God, we are the best team in the world, to, oh, Spurs are winning. So this whole journey, thanks for everyone who have stuck with us. And hopefully we entertained you enough by our rants, by our impossible, what did they call you, Bob? Impossible possibility or positivity? Impossible positivity from Bob. So yeah, and thank you for the support, and like, share, subscribe, and comment in any comments that you guys have. But one last game for the season, Bob.
Yes. Yes.
It was at the end it was different. So every one of us had like this happy ending, or 5-1 is a pretty good scoreline on a last day, but it kind of was happy, but not really. It was satisfactory, but not really. I was watching in the pub, but at the end it was like, yeah, we'll see next year. That's the mood that we were out of. We were not like, yes, 5-1 at the end of the season. Nothing like that. Did you feel that?
No, not really. See, amongst the many things that I had hoped for, one of the things that I was certainly hoping for, particularly in the course of the season, is the fact that we were almost going to end up finishing in one of those championship places. That would have been a jewel in the crown. Had we achieved that, then it would have been a massive achievement in terms of how we were and what we've, how we've transformed. Having said that, the positivity in me is telling me that I'll tell you, buddy, I'll tell you, wait to hear me out. If we don't, so FA has to nominate the 4 teams for Champions League to UEFA I think it's the first week of June. When mind you, the Chelsea's ownership hasn't been, still completely sorted.
Come on, Bob. No.
I have to tell you that. I have to tell you that.
This is going on another extreme. Okay, no.
I'll tell you. That's why I said wait to hear me out.
This is crossing the impossible barrier that we had. Okay, go ahead. Give me the crazy positivity that you have.
Okay. In case Chelsea the ownership isn't been sorted, then FA can't nominate Chelsea to be in the Champions League. Yeah. Then and they have to pick the first team, which is out of the top 4. And no prizes for guessing which one is that. So
the deluded Arsenal fans that we are, we will stick to. We'll cling on to any hope that we have instead of actually accepting the reality. But Ashish, do you share this kind of positivity that Bob has been sharing?
I'm in for anything actually, but if you ask me, when in January when we did not purchase anyone, I personally felt when we went into this, like when we started the season, just before starting the first 3 losses, I personally felt that we might if we achieve 5th or 6th, that would be really good, because I did not think we could with that squad. I personally did not think, because we did actually spend the most amount of money in Europe in that window, but still I felt that this is the first time that we are making a significant change to our squad. A manager is given that much kind of authority. So I wanted that something more to happen in January. It did not happen. So to me, 5th or 6th is actually a very, very good achievement level. No, I would not say Bob is deluded. I think he's a
come on, don't
I'm a realist.
No, you are not.
He's hoping for it, but I think there's one big danger with what Bob is asking for. We're not just short-staffed for Premier League next season. We're massively malnourished for the next season's Champions League. So that would need a £400 million kind of investment, where we actually buy 10 people. And we are ready for literally almost every competition. So that's work of 2 to 3 windows.
I sort of echo Arteta's sentiments, right? We were supposed to finish in the Champions League. We had it for taking, and we didn't. We let it pass. What it showed is 2 different things. Okay, so one thing, this current crop of players, although they've been pulling above their weight for most of the games, they don't still have that character molded in them to sort of bring in results. Look at Liverpool, look at City, and those are the teams that you have to look at and then try and bring out results on any day, at any period of time. When City were 2-0 down, they had the confidence in them and they had the personal in them to propel them to a 3-2 victory, and that's their confidence and that's their ability. We don't have that in us. We have to accept. And if we are going with such sort of a personal into the Champions League, then we'll be getting ourselves massively short. Yeah. So even with Europa League and even for the next season, we as what IG said, we are still a lot way far. We might have actually pulled off a lot of things, in our way, but most of the things were things getting along or things working for us during that particular days. We didn't have a plan, when Newcastle came out. When we went out against Newcastle had a very clear plan in terms of how to shut us out, and they worked to perfection in terms of what they did. We didn't really have a plan B to, try and do something different. Right.
See, Bob, that is where, for me, it's a bit of a conundrum right there. Like, we have talked about this a lot, and I would like to hear from Ashish on this topic. But for me, Ashish, what Bob is saying is true to a certain degree. I do have that, fear that Arsenal are under Arteta is like plan A that's really solid. But once that doesn't work, we don't know what to do. But so are the other teams. The only difference is between us and Spurs, we were both in 22 wins. Right. The only reason that they kind of pushed themselves into it is maybe get a couple of draws where we lost.
Correct. And that's where you need character, right? For you to come back.
No, that's where you need superstars who can who can change the game by themselves. Like if you remember that draw, there is one draw that I could remember is the Leicester game where Spurs scored in 95th minute or something.
Yeah.
They scored 2 goals in the 95th minute to
They
draw
won
that
the
game.
Not draw the game. They won the game.
They won the game.
Yeah.
So that's a very big difference. Like imagine against Southampton, we didn't have like one personnel who could step up and score one goal.
Yeah,
we didn't have one person to, so it's a personal issue rather than like a a mentality issue. Like Ashish, let me know if what I am trying to say makes sense.
It does make sense because that's what Arteta said when he came, in the post-match press conference as well, that he's looking for players who are actually not just young, but are actually old enough to have good amount of experience to bring those results, as what you're saying. Because the first season we got out of Europa League, via Olympiacos.
Yeah.
There was a chance of Aubameyang. It did not go in, and things looked bleak. The next season, these young boys showed the hunger and destroyed Olympiacos, and they moved into the semi-final. So you got to understand that whenever they fell short, the next season they've actually worked hard on that. So that's what happens with young players. Of course, you need good amount of seasoned players to come into the squad. Like we're talking about Gabriel Jesus, the links are super strong. As if yesterday I actually I report on more on transfer news. So yesterday we came to know that Tottenham have entered the races and Gabriel Jesus, but there's so many.
Where would he fit in Tottenham, right? Like they have Harry Kane, they have Son, they have that Kulusevski guy. So where would Gabriel Jesus play? He is not ready to sit on the bench in a City team where he's won like 4 championships. Like
he's actually
will he go and sit?
No, Antonio Conte is going to play 3-5-2. He's going to be the second striker with Harry Kane, and Son and Kulusevski will be the wing backs. So that would add a different dimension to their attack. But not even a single link from Brazil that is coming, and linking him. It's just a telegraph. So linking him to Spurs. So he's completely, agreed to work with Arteta, and he wants to be a main part of the project. That's what he's not been a part of in Manchester City. The same is a problem with Raheem Sterling, Ilkay Gundogan. So Arsenal are prioritizing players who have good amount of experience in the Premier League, not just in the Premier League. I mean, lots of other superstars as well. So we are prioritizing Tielemans as well. So this, people say that these are just links, IG. Like I've been, doing this for the last 4 years, so I can tell you the links sometimes actually are the things that is actually coming out from the club, and only confirmed when sources close to the club, like Charles Watts, like Chris Wheatley. So these are the people who are really close to the club. So when they confirm, then you realize, okay, fine. The AFC Bell was during Thomas Partey. I mean, he was the hero. So they have close connections with the club. So otherwise, the links are super strong coming from Brazil that Jesus is coming to us. And so Arsenal they've understood that they cannot, if they go on with this youth, they're going to take some 7 or 8 seasons. They need superstars that I'm pretty much sure Arsenal is resonating with what you want, Vijay.
See, I'll tell you, look at it this way, Vijay. Had we finished a season still in the Europa League, just like how United did, that would have been a massive underachievement in terms of what we were and how we, started with the season, right? We started on a terrific bad foot. We lost the first 3 games. We were being managed by a rookie manager. It's still the case, but still, there was a lot of questions. And at a point in time, you would remember, I think we've spoken about it, that is it now or never that Arteta would be gone. Look at how we were at that point in time. You still feel that, we missed out on Champions League. And yes, you are right. And many fans are right. Right. This is what I was reading about it, an article from Emmy Lawrence and then as well as Gunner blog yesterday. And they were mentioning what people comment out or what people talk about Arsenal on Twitter is completely different to the fans' experience at the Emirates. Fans have been completely behind the team. And if you looked at the games there, even against Everton and all those sort of things, the team was there, or the fans were there to support the team. Even though they knew the fact that, we're not going to get into the Champions League, that was the support. And this is not something new, is what they particularly mentioned on. That's not something sort of a false positive where fans come and rally behind the team only for them to go against them if the results don't go that way. They were supporting the team even when we were losing, right? That was the sort of support when we were losing against Crystal Palace, for example. the away fans at the Palace end was amazing. And that's actually a difference. So you should not look at and, draw out sentiments from what keyboard warriors in Twitter are talking about the club. That's not the true reflection of what it is.
True, Bob, but okay, so I'll go to Ashish again about this game in specific, right? Like, for me, the concern, Ashish, is that yes, what we said is true, that we have punched above our weight in this run. Yes, true, but the inconsistency is what is bothering me. Like, for example, this game, especially this Everton game, when the news came out that Ben White is not there, I thought, like, okay, then we don't have Ben White, we don't have our passer from the back. Like last game, we saw that Aaron Ramsdale was putting long balls into the players. He was not doing the passing from the back. So my thought was, okay, this is going to be a game where we are going to struggle to create opportunities, because we are having Holding at the back, and we are having like Cedric and Nuno, who are not super comfortable in the ball. So my thought was, oh, this is going to be kind of a different game. But in the game, we were bossing with 80+% of possession. So the team can do this against any team on their day. Like United, we played so much on the front foot. With City, we played so much on the front foot. With players that's missing, that's how we are playing in front foot. And then when suddenly we play these games like Newcastle, we play the games like Southampton. This is what is bothering me. Like this game, literally we bossed them. Like Martinelli roasted that side. Like the first penalty, he was clean through. It was like he would have shot if not for our own Iwobi's hand. But still, like, I cannot understand this inconsistency of the team with the personnel, because especially for me, it will be like, okay, yeah, we didn't have the personnel, so the inconsistency came about. That makes sense. But when we don't have the personnel, we are able to do it. So where does this inconsistency come from?
See, we actually wanted the consistency in the squad, so we make our star striker our captain, and we give him a very good contract, and boom, suddenly things don't go well. So we have to change the captain. The plans change. So I think the youngsters were trying to look up to Lacazette with what he does. Everyone was praising Lacazette until he started being wasteful again this season. So just before the Chelsea game, we decided, what, let's bring in Eddie Nketiah. We have to do something different. We just can't sit with Lacazette. We did that, and we saw a change in the whole dynamics of the whole team, and we came back with 4 wins, and we were back on track for the Champions League. So I think you need different kind of characters. They did not have it enough. With Thomas Partey's injury, we were thinking should be Lokonga and Xhaka. You never know, Xhaka gets too many amount of yellow cards. So we are packed in that midfield. We are only proper 3 midfielders playing.
I'm also worried about one more thing. It's you the best person to ask about this. Like, Xhaka was substituted unusually in the 60th minute, which was unusual, because he never gets substituted like in any game. That too, in the last game of the season, he gets substituted in 60th minute. Not letting him do the lap of honor at the end of the game, or not letting him. Not,
I'll tell you
the wrong way.
The mother of all unusual things about Xhaka is him signing the contract last year when we were almost bang sure that he was going to join Roma, right?
Yeah, but that's why I'm asking Ashish, right? Is this a sign that Xhaka is leaving? Especially because like a couple of days ago, he comes out with that strong statement about the club after the Newcastle game, or about the team, and then he gets substituted in the 60th minute. That doesn't seem right.
I think we were leading the game. I personally thought that the game was completely dead rubber. Everton punched above their weight to secure, to prevent a relegation. And once they did that, and they were marred with injuries. Look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin, injured the whole majority part of the season. And, he was. And even Lampard said that, when DCL got linked with Arsenal again recently, he also said that he's actually pushing too much, even though he got injured. So I know there was nothing to compete for. Like Arsenal could only hope that Spurs could lose, but that was, I don't think so, happening with what Norwich do, right? They've been losing their all home games. Like they've not been there at any level, to be fair.
Norwich never fair at any level.
So Everton had nothing to show for, like during the last day. So I think the game was in control. I think it was a chance to give Sambi a chance, like just how Lacazette came in as well. So I personally did not feel much about it. But if you talk about the transfers, will Xhaka leave? I personally don't feel so. Will Xhaka leave? Because he says that there is some unfinished business with us, and I think I'll stick with that. And I think if Roma comes back, that could be a different story in the transfer window. But with signed a new contract, Roma did not pay the amount of money we wanted, and we gave Xhaka a new contract. I personally believe that if Roma comes in, or probably some interesting project comes in, everything will be fine, because Roma did not secure Champions League. They are just going to play the Europa League, so it won't make a big difference. And if Arsenal makes significant signings, I mean, Xhaka still has something to prove.
See, I'll tell you, I have a take on that Everton result. Okay, one thing that I've realized through this season is we crack under pressure, right? When we were put under a very high pressured scenario, more often than not that we crack. There are some instances where it has worked in our favor, but yeah. So again, goes back to the personal and then the character within the team. They'll get that in time. Mind you, these are all 20-year-olds. I mean, we have the most, the average squad, the age of the average squad is the least within the Premier League. So this team has got a lot to improve on, and they will definitely get better. But one thing it definitely did show to us is the fact that they can't handle such amount of pressure. With Chelsea, IG mentioned about it. With Chelsea, when we brought in Nketiah there, it was almost a lost cause, and we were just like, guess what? Whatever happens, I'm going to bring in Nketiah and we'll see what happens after that. The results paid off in our favor. But if you looked at a similar example of substitutions, against the Newcastle game, we did bring in 3 attacking players during the game. We
put every attacking player in.
Correct.
That's what we always do.
But what happened? We considered a second goal after that, right? See, it could have been a different result any other day. Maybe one of the attackers could have nicked in a goal, or we don't know, right? But that didn't happen. They didn't stand up to that situation, or the players who are actually bringing in, for example, Pepe and all those people. I don't think he's got that X factor to come and make a difference. We're not talking about Sterling or all these Gundogan or all these massive players there which City brings in, right? We're talking about players who have come in at their false peak, and we pick them thinking that they will deliver more of such peaks, only for them to falter massively down. We don't really have the personnel to come and make a difference from the bench. And we don't, all the players who have inspired us to be where we are, like Smith Rowe, like Saka, they are already on the team, and they are already pulling their socks off every game, right? You can't pull a rabbit out of the hat. The hat is empty completely.
I actually thought that when Lacazette came in and he got that chance to put it away, like I think it was 78th or 80th minute, when he gets this clear-cut chance that he tries to curl, but it goes away. I remember Lacazette, Everton game. Yeah. Lacazette, when he joined us, the first game, he got a goal out of his first shot. So I thought like he will get another goal off his last shot. That would be the photo frame, thing about Lacazette. But Ashish, like talking about Lacazette, he's done, right? Like, I mean, I don't see us signing him back. Elneny, they say, is signing back, which I don't have any problem. I mean, he's a pretty good, solid squad player. He knows what his position is. So I don't have any problems about it. But Lacazette, he's done, right? Like, I mean, he's not going to stay. No.
There's been talks about Marseille wanting to sign him. So Marseille has now become the retirement home for all the ex-Arsenal players, and then
don't say that. Arsenal fan media will like eat you up. Like, what are you talking about? Saliba.
Look at Palacios. Look at Gundogan. Look at Saliba.
Saliba is the best CB in the world according to Arsenal fan media. Sorry, Ashish, we cut you off. Go ahead.
Actually, Lacazette, I think he had his love affair with Lyon again. He's been in contact with Lyon for a very long time, even after joining Arsenal. So I also remember Lacazette's goal against Leicester City. What a game that was, 4-3. Olivier Giroud header at the end. Very
Olivier
interesting.
Giroud
But
won AC Milan the title, so
true,
yeah.
true. Since he left Arsenal, he's been winning. That's really I congratulate him for that. But this whole William Saliba saga is just being dragged upon so that all the French media get some hype. Abuses from Arsenal fans, to be fair. But all in all, I think they misinterpreted they misinterpret Saliba. The whole collapse of Lucas Torreira's Fiorentina deal also happened. So we have like good amount of people coming back. It's all what's so interesting about this transfer window is that one big statement that Mikel Arteta has said to Edu as well, to even to the ownership, that he wants minimum of 2 players in every position. With the amount of squad we have, it did not mean that I want 2-footed players so that I've got 3 players in 2 positions. No, every position he wants 2 players. Now that is very interesting, because if that actually happens this season, like in this transfer window, if we achieve, if we actually try to get 6 to 7 players, if we get 6 to 7 players, we forget about top 4. I think we're actually fighting for something really strong. Like we could actually go for second or third.
Don't jinx it.
I don't know. I'm actually, I don't know. But to do that many kind of signings, actually, it's going to take a lot of hard work. And since Arsenal do all the business only at the deadline day, I don't know if that's going to happen.
It means that we are going to have like a lot of heart attacks, and as usual, we'll be having our blood pressure tablets, 911 ready, so that we don't die. Arsenal fans have this problem, like all of us have this high blood pressure, all these things, I guess.
Attention.
Yeah, but okay, so I get it, Ashish. Like when Arteta went to US to meet the owners, I think around January, and he after that is when they kind of decided to give him the extension, is what my understanding is. When he says 2 players for each position, my only concern is how is that being thought about? Like midfield, we already have like Lokonga, Partey, Xhaka, and Elneny. So that's 4 players for 2 positions. That's done. So ESR and Odegaard for number 10.
Are you drifting into transfers now, Vijay?
No, I'm just I shouldn't. I shouldn't talk about it. Good that you brought me back. But Arteta's comments were interesting, Bob. Like literally, before the game, he was giving out a different vibe all in itself. He was saying anything is possible. Mathematically, we are still in, and all those things. But after the game, which we have won 5-1, and the last day, and it's a pretty good result, but he didn't sound he was happy with it.
Which shows his hunger, right? And that's how he needs to be. If he settled for the fact that, we pulled above our weights and then we finished 5th, that would have mean that, the players would have actually felt, we've done a decent job. But he wants the players to be hungry. And mind you, when 2012 or 2013, when Klopp joined in the team, this is how Liverpool too started. I remember one game where they drew against West Brom and they were celebrating amongst 11 players in front of their club crowd. So people were laughing about it, but he sort of instilled a mentality like, guys, until you win, until you keep winning, this is never unfulfilled. And that's the sort of message that he is giving to the public, and then as well as to the board, that no, we are not done. We are just getting started, and we have a long way to go. And that's how they have to be. If they don't press the pedal now, if we rest on our laurels to say now we've achieved the minimum qualification of Europe, then we are going backwards. We still need to inject in a lot of money. And just like what IG said, we have to be bringing in players of quality for every position. We are massively understaffed. So if we bring in players, now all the deadwood is gone, right? Every deadwood that you could point to. Of course, there'll be more deadwoods coming along the way.
Cedric is still there.
Yeah, so did you look at that goal, buddy? Seriously? That was a massive goal. Seriously, only Cedric could have scored that. I'm telling you.
No, come on, Bob. Don't give him that. It was a goal. Okay, I'm happy
He
for
is
it.
our player,
He
buddy. I
scored
support.
it.
Okay. Now I'm telling you, we can't just rest on it. We still have to do same, if not more, spending now that we have bigger competitions and all those sort of things to worry about, along with our league aspirations. We still have to bring in players of quality. Now, the wage bill has been reduced by half now. And that's probably the main factors as to why Arteta took most of the blame. He took out Ozil. He took out Oba. So it was his choice. And that was why the board rewarded him with the contract, right? So if we take the pedal off now, then it means that Arsenal are down and dead because we have Newcastle coming along from this window, right? From this season. So we'll have more competition, not anywhere less. So we just have to keep working, keep doing more. People thought that with the investment that Arsenal made, we were making a fool out of ourselves by signing, Ramsdale and all those sort of things. We proved most of them wrong. And Ramsdale, for all the things that Leno was dropped, Ramsdale was exactly doing the same thing now in the last few games. He needs to get a stick at the back.
Yep.
And that's how it has to be. That's how the culture needs to be for this team to grow.
True. I mean, yeah, it makes sense. But also, like, the other part of the problem, Ashish, is that we have a lot of young players that's very promising. We already know that Klopp loves Martinelli. We have seen him giving glowing reputation, or like he always praises Martinelli every chance he gets. And we know that a lot of people love Saka, like what we do. And the problem for me is to retain this talent, right? To retain all these young players in the team. That's the problem. And Saka's comment, or the way he responded, or the way the media is saying stuff, is making me a little bit worried. Is there anything that I should be worried about Saka?
Not actually, because Richard Garlick, who is actually in charge of making all these deals happen, like extending contracts and everything, and talking to the players, his first priority, his first job this season, like in this transfer window, is that to give William Saliba, Martinelli, and Saka a new contract. Just that's the news that is going around. So I think personally, since I've been covering for 4 seasons of, I'm not just boasting about it, but one thing I've learned.
You should. That's a good job that you're doing. So,
yeah. So whatever comes from French media is generally, since many UK fans, they don't generally calm down and try to listen to if they know French, or if someone translates that, they generally take in whatever news comes in. So that's always negative. French players going to foreign clubs, it's always negative. They just try to link them back to the French clubs. That's for the first case. Second case, to react first to the first straightaway news is actually wrong in every possible way. I personally believe this whole Saliba thing will be. He's never been disrespectful to Arsenal, which is what I love about William Saliba. The same thing has been about Saka as well. So I'm not saying anything about it. He loves Arsenal. Him and Emil Smith-Rowe, they love Arsenal. He's got the number 7, not to go to some other club. Of course, we've been finishing 5th, but if we make some statement signings, I'm pretty much sure Saka, he has an unfinished business with Arsenal. So I don't see them leaving. Martinelli wants to be a legend over here. So I mean, nobody's leaving. As of now, nobody's leaving.
That's a good news. That's a very good news to hear. The other thing that I wanted to discuss, Bob, is the title race, because we, like, even in our game, right, when City scored, Everton fans were celebrating that Liverpool's not winning the title, right? We saw that in the TV, like literally that's what they were doing. And I was sitting there in the bar, and in the last 10 minutes or so, last 10 minutes of the game, I was not looking at our game. I'm looking at like what's happening in the title race. That is kind of like the mentality kind of astounded me, right? Like, yeah. City was 2-0 down and they bring in Gundogan, and I mean, they were not expected to go 2-0 down, but they did, and they responded with so much, it was like they literally responded like, yeah, this is another day in our daily life. which was astounding. And then thinking back, I'm going like, yeah, that used to be us. That used to be us, right? Like we used to bring in players and change games.
I remember in the early 90s, buddy, when I was watching football, there was never a game that you can doubt Arsenal. Never. Any day, we would have something. The players, the opposition would get intimidated, right? Based on looking at us at the field. Look at City. Most of them would get intimidated, really. And what Liverpool are doing is exactly how City has built themselves up. And that's the level that we have to aspire ourselves to. Seriously, if we want to be even closer to considering for title with Liverpool and City, it's going to be very difficult. Last night there came a news that Liverpool have signed on Carvalho, who's a young attacking talent from Fulham, right? And they've straight away got into their business for next season. Their season is still not over. They've got Champions League final to play for, right? They've got into business. And City have signed in Haaland. Even without an attacking, a proper number 9 striker, they were able to score 98 goals, mate. That's the level that
I'm scared what they are going to do with Haaland.
Correct, right?
How are we going to catch them? How are we going to ever catch them?
Okay. We have to do what we are doing at the moment. We have to continue to do. Unfortunately, this game needs a lot of money these days. It's not like you find talent and then you give them. It's 1 in 100 times that it might work. Just like how Leicester pulled that off. So it means that you have to find in talent. You have to find in players who can fit into your mold and mentality, and keep finding such more of those, and then start working on those. We have to work our way back up. And someone said, I don't remember who of you said that we would be closer to title, blah blah blah. Bullshit talk. Don't even get into that.
Yeah. Ashish, Bob attacks Ashish. That's going to be my title.
No, I'm telling you. I'm being realistic here. Okay. We are not.
I was targeting the second spot more, but okay.
Yeah. So no. Okay. So we still have a long way to go, and we can't just. We have to keep doing what we are doing. We are doing things in the right direction. For once, I feel. After a long time, I'm getting a feeling that we are doing the right things. We have to prove ourselves again this transfer window to show our ambitions that we are going along that path. If we sit back and buy players just we need to go through the season, no. That means that we are writing ourselves off even before the ball is kicked off. That's it.
Two things, Ashish, like last couple of things that I want to talk to you about, right? Like a couple of days ago, Josh Kroenke gave an interview, or something came out from Josh, right? About the ambition of the club and stuff. I mean, I've never bought into the Kroenke's, passion for the club a lot, but last couple of seasons, I kind of feel that it's kind of moving in a different direction to before. Like Stan used to be this no involved owner, but Josh seems to have a little bit of involvement in how things are done, or he cares a little bit more, is what my feeling is. Although I hate Kroenke's in general, but Josh gives me a little bit of hope that we would get that. Do you get that feeling?
You find it very surprising that I've always got that feeling from initially from the Kroenkes. The sad part is that it took a European Super League involvement for them to feel guilty enough to actually back the manager fully like that in the previous window that they did. Otherwise, we were happy with just Thomas Partey in one window. Can you imagine that? I mean, I personally believe that this is my personal opinion, that maybe the signings of like Cedric, Willian, probably that was done because the club was kind of recuperating with the whole COVID thing that actually took the financial toll on the club. Then some certain loan was sanctioned and things happened with what Kroenke's actually tried to financially manage the club. I personally believe that the patience of this fan base would be quite fickle. Imagine the previous transfer window if Mikel Arteta would have only signed 3 players, and he would not have signed maybe Ramsdale or probably Ben White. How far we would have been. I don't know where we would have finished. So it took players for us to come to 5th. It will take us players to take us to more higher positions. It's obvious. That's what City did. That's what Liverpool did as well. Those are the 2 clubs that did not buy into the whole youth setup, what we are actually building on. I mean, they actually got out and straight away bought literally everything what they wanted, and they built a team. That's why they are there where they are.
Sorry, IG and Vijay. I just have to say, probably I have to drop off for another meeting that I have. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem, Bob.
Nice
Thanks for your time.
And then we'll chat about in the next things. Of course, transfers is going to be the next big thing for the next 2.5 months. So we'll talk about it. All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Bob. Bye. So Ashish, to continue on that, right? I just wanted that thought to be completed, because yes, I understand the project youth and this investment needed and everything. But when we talk about the owners and the involvement in the club, we always seem to think that Abramovich is the type of owner that needs to be there, right? But City owners are never there. They give the money, yes, but still they are not involved in the club that much. Or like Liverpool owners are not involved in that club that much, but they are there. They are fighting for that spot. So are we as fans, are we like fickle that we see one thing and go like, that's what we want?
We are actually. I mean, I personally believe that I don't mind if the owners are actually in. If they come to the finals, I'm fine with that. As long as things are going well with the club, and I believe the direction what they are showing us, if that's the right direction, I'm fine with that. I mean, look at Leicester City. Their owner, came in during the FA Cup victory, and he was actually doing that and this, and you can see the amount of spending he's done. What kind of players have they bought? So you can see the ambition since they won the title. So yes, so different owners are different. So I personally don't have any problem with the owners coming or not. They were there in the final game of this season as well. So I don't know if anyone saw them, but they were there. So I personally believe that it doesn't matter as long as fans are fine with the vision what has been shown to us.
Mm-hmm. And the last thing is about the fans themselves. You properly brought that here. This has been, I don't know about you, but personally, this has been the year that I have been having the joy of, following Arsenal after years. It has felt like, something that there is a quote or there is a meme that goes about, right? Boys pick their favorite football team at 11 and let it ruin their life forever. That is actually true for us, right? We pick Arsenal and literally every year it's been like, meh, I follow Arsenal, so I watch every match. I get frustrated. I do that. But this year is when I actually felt that joy back. When Santi Cazorla and all those people, that was the last time I felt that, right? When we literally played well, we looked good. I don't know if we played that well, but that's how invested I was as a fan. And I felt that as a whole fan base felt that way too. Did you have that feeling of getting back the joy of watching Arsenal again?
After a very long time, I felt that since we actually went on a run of winning, since Mikel Arteta's last season, we had a small run. This season, we had a very surprising run after losing those 3 games. Then a run of 4 wins got us back into this whole Champions League conversation, back to the 4th spot. So yes, I personally believe it's all what we are actually interested in are 3 points. We don't care how we get it, how bad it is. As long as, because there has to be a sense of belief that Arsenal going into every game are favorites too. That's what Bob said, right? That it was there in the 90s. We want that back. It was long gone. I don't even remember when it was last. So I saw something like that. And of course, throughout the whole season, before this whole 3 losses and everything, we had that feeling that fans, that connection is back. As what you felt, as what I felt, that connection is back. Even though after losing, as you said, we picked a club, we just can't stop supporting it. I completely agree with that. But don't you think as Arsenal fans we deserve this after a very long time?
That's the conversation.
Imagine being a Manchester United fan.
I'm just so happy that they're going to play I would have been happier if they ended up playing Conference League, but they're having Varane, they're having Ronaldo, they're having all these big players, and they are going to play Europa League. Good. That's and like Bob said, they just craved the Europa League spot. We missed out on a Champions League spot. There is a difference in where we are in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, this is this is the season where I felt more invested in Arsenal than in any of the recent times. Even that year when we won the FA Cup, the first Arteta half season, I didn't have that whole happiness. It was just like, oh yeah, this is just like, once we got through the quarterfinals, that's when I was like, oh yeah, I could watch FA Cup. But that's only the FA Cup. I didn't watch, I didn't feel that joy in like our gameplay. We were like hanging on to it. So hopefully this is just a start and we build on it, right? Like that's my only hope. Thanks, Ashish. I mean, we had an amazing conversation, and I want you to like come back again for like next couple of episodes where we want to do like what happened in the season, kind of a review, and then do a regular recurring transfer market thing. So I hope I could get your time, and thank you so much. It's always been amazing to talk to you.
Sure. It's a pleasure to come on this channel, as I always say to Bob as well. So it's really a good a good time in this episode. I mean, Bob has been super fun in this episode, and so you have been as well. So I hope I added value to this podcast, and felt great to be a part of it.
It's absolutely like we just reeled you in to be another of our regulars. Like you have just been caught in our net for the upcoming episodes. So thank you so much for joining in, and for everyone who's still listening, do like, share, and subscribe, and comment in what your thoughts were about this whole Saka situation, Xhaka situation, and all these things that we have talked about. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you Ashish. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.